Now that indeed was Chris Ewan. It wasn't Sig Zane in disguise, but Chris was actually following the agenda that had been sent to us. I was the creative one that chose my own order, so he gets a gold star for going right after Sudha. But we would really welcome Sig Zane to wrap up the panel sharing today.
Yeah, I'm used to going last with a name starting with the Z. I know you are Y, but aloha mai to the kupuna, to the ohana, and to the friends. I am honored to sit before you guys and share my story. Thanks so much for the invitation. You know, I am not from this land. I grew up on Oahu, but I've been here since '71. And I think that downtown Hilo really is where I grew up. This week we celebrate 23 years as a business, and this is where I learned all of my lessons. I think that all of the experiences, the ups and downs and the mistakes and positives all have contributed to who I am today. But I really believe in place and in people. And I mahalo Hilo for allowing me to live here, accepting me, and then really guiding me through life. So mahalo to this wonderful place. In this historical district of downtown Hilo, I really believe that we have a sense of place, a place that we can brag to the world that no one else has. You know, walking down the streets, you feel an ambiance, really a stuck in time feeling, but I think that that is an asset. You know, I think that this is a value that we can build on, identifying the special features, and in turn, preserving it for the future generations. You know, we've been very fortunate that we've been protected by nature. You know, I say protected because we have been kind of kept this way because of the natural disasters. But really, when you look at our town, we have things that other people can't brag about. We have a lot of wide open green spaces. We have a row of coconut trees that are still standing. Yeah, a lot of people can't brag about that. So in terms, nature is protecting us and guiding us. So that is an edge. You know, our downtown is basically the same as it was back in the 50s. And the fear of the next one, you know, kind of keeps us humble. But at the same time, it makes us afraid to develop. I think in this district, we have several corridors that deserve to be preserved and highlighted. One example is the Capital District, the one with the federal post office building, the East Hawaii Cultural Center, which is the former police station, also the Kulana Na'auau building that houses the Social Services Department. There are also a few wooden structures, say on Ululani Street, the Red Cross building and the neighboring one. I think those are fine examples of architecture that need to be preserved. You know, like for example, before the shipping ports were built, a lot of the wood that make up these buildings here were dropped into the ocean and then floated into shore. You know, the saltwater dunking preserved that wood, making it less attractive to the termites. So our buildings stand today, not only because of that special saltwater treatment, but because they were really done with love and integrity. Their character is admirable. The architect I like to identify as something like a plantation market, and the personality is definitely romantic. You know, if we have all of our guidelines intact, I think we'd be able to protect our valuable building inventory from change. Like, take for example, the old Hilo Hotel was a former location of the King Kalakaua summer home. You know, and remember that big banyan tree that they cut down? That was what he planted. And if we have our guidelines, maybe we can save things like this and that become the special assets. In our community, we offer colorful experiences that cannot be had in other locale. Again, walking the sidewalks, you really feel a sense of place. You know, there is no place like Hilo. You know, just like how that song goes, yeah? Although this is kind of subliminal to the visitor and kind of intangible, there is a stickiness that tends to linger in the memories. That is an asset. You know, when that visitor comes to town, you know, oftentimes they say, wow, this place is really stuck in time, yeah? But I think that that is one of the assets that we have Paradise found. As the economy continues to challenge our survival, we can look at downtown Hilo really as a main ingredient for a recipe for success. Certainly we're not competing with the other destinations because we don't have white sand beaches and we don't have luau shows. What we do have though is lifestyle. And what we do here is real, and everything we do is because we love it here. Take for example at the end of Waianuinui Avenue, the lighthouse stands on Kaipalawa Landing. There was once a village there, a place where my wife's grandmother was born. There was also a pier that all the whaling ships stopped at. And that's one of the translations for the place, Kaipalawa, Whale Sea. I envision this small green space as a wonderful park. Enhancing the green area would be a really nice greeting for everyone arriving to Hilo from the north, or really a warm goodbye when they're heading out. You know, our culture and traditions make up our character and personality. As a people place, these characteristics are part of the value of the experience of our downtown Hilo. Like Chris Ewan's saying, you know, the sidewalks, you encounter people, you share stories. That is something that is very kind of neat to Hilo. You don't get that in a mall. Sharing our personal stories enhance the individual journey and add that special color to the daily routines. I have a friend, Kahu Billy Mitchell, who recently said that we must always continue to sharpen our fish hooks. This is a metaphor for being alert and on the lookout. It's the same how we offer our downtown Hilo. We continually need to reinvent ourselves so that we remain a fresh atmosphere, a fresh adventure, and not just for our own community to support us, but for all others who happen on our sidewalk. The biggest challenge that we face is how do we grow without sacrificing our great assets? We must look at our economy and devise a plan to encourage growth for the next generation. We need to create an environment that instills pride along with a reward so that our children remain. We have to update so that they see the benefits of Hilo as totally in sync with the rest of the world. Oftentimes we bring experiences and emotion to place how it should be. I like minimal impact on change in downtown Hilo because we're so fortunate to have this sense of place, and our identity is a benefit. Our community should embrace this very distinct attraction that we have and build upon it, infusing modern but maintaining the romance of Paradise found. The ability to fuse both our past and future will take planning and financial muscle, but the integration will be inviting for our own people. And lastly, I always believe that if we can nurture our own kind, our children, especially by the celebration of our culture, our tradition, and place, we offer pride and instill that opportunities exist for them locally. Meanwhile, looking from the outside, this view is so attractive. It enhances the visitor experience of our town, enriches our history, and continues the vital heartbeat of our people. Mahalo.
Wonderfully appropriate to end with a heartfelt message. We are going to shift now to the fact that you are welcome to ask questions of the panelists. And we're going to have people with microphones on the bottom of these two stairways. And I had said earlier you can write your question. If you want someone to read your question, that would be an appropriate way, but you are very welcome to come up. We'd like to ask you to keep it to about 3 minutes. You're welcome to address a specific panel member. This is an opportunity to tap into their expertise, because they represent not only their specific occupations or interests, but a sense that, you know, all of us work together for all of the different areas that we're focusing on.